am not telling this story to blame anyone. I am telling it because I wish someone had told me earlier. My name does not matter much now. People in my street still call me Auntie, the way they always have. I live in a quiet house with creaking doors and too much silence. Every sound echoes here, especially memories. There was a time when I thought my family did not understand me. Now I know the truth. The truth hit me too late. When I was younger, I believed I was the strongest one in my family. I woke up early. I cooked. I cleaned. I worked. I sacrificed. At least, that is what I told myself. My husband, Rashid, was a quiet man. He did not speak much, especially about feelings. He believed love was shown through responsibility, not words. He paid the bills on time. He never missed a day of work. He thought that was enough. Our children, 2 sons and a daughter, grew up watching us from the corners of the room. They learned early not to interrupt. They learned that silence kept the peace. And I learned resentment. I felt invisible. I felt unheard. I felt alone, even in a house full of people. Instead of speaking, I complained. Instead of asking, I assumed. Instead of listening, I judged. I told myself they don't care. So I stopped caring back. That was my first mistake. As years passed, the distance grew, but slowly, like rust on metal, not loud, not dramatic, just quiet. My husband stopped asking how my day was. I stopped telling him anyway. My son stayed out longer. I told myself, boys are like that. My daughter locked herself in her room with her books and headphones. I called her too sensitive. At dinner, phones replaced conversations. Silence replaced laughter. And still, I told myself, this is normal. Families grow apart. This is life. But deep inside, something was breaking. I was angry all the time. Angry at noise. Angry at mess. Angry at small mistakes. I thought my family was ungrateful. I never stopped to ask myself a harder question. What if they were hurting too? The truth does not always arrive with shouting. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a doctor clearing his throat. The day Rashid collapsed at work, my world tilted. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and fear. I sat on a plastic chair, my hands shaking, counting every second. When the doctor came out, his face was gentle in a way that scared me. He had been under a lot of stress. The doctor said stress. That word stayed with me. At home, Rashid never complained. At work, he carried everything. I realized, for the first time, that I never asked him how he was coping. I was so busy measuring my own pain that I never noticed his. When he survived, but returned home weaker, quieter, I saw him differently. Too late, while Rashid rested, I tried to hold the house together. That is when my daughter, Sarah, came to me one night. She stood in the doorway, twisting her fingers. "Amy," she said softly, "can I talk to you?" I was tired, my head hurt, my patience was thin. "Later," I said, "not now." She nodded and walked away. That night, I heard her crying through the wall. I told myself she was being dramatic. That was my second big mistake. Weeks later, I found a letter folded inside her book. She was struggling at school. She felt invisible at home. She felt like no one listened. As I read her words, my chest tightened. These were the same feelings I carried. But instead of seeing myself in her, I had dismissed her. The truth hit me, but not hard enough yet. My sons were easier to ignore, because they did not ask for much. Or so I thought. One had dropped out of college without telling us. The other was working 2 jobs to avoid coming home. When I confronted them angrily, they did not shout back. They just looked tired. "You never wanted to hear us." My elder son said quietly, "You always told us what to do. Never asked what we wanted." His words felt like a slap, but also like a mirror. I saw myself clearly for the first time, not as a victim, but as someone who had stopped listening. Rashid grew more distant after his illness. He spent hours sitting by the window, staring outside. One evening, I sat beside him. "I thought you didn't care about me," I admitted. He looked surprised. "I thought you didn't care about me," he replied. That moment broke something open inside me. We were both lonely, together. Years of misunderstandings had piled up between us like bricks, and neither of us had tried to remove them. I cried that night, not loudly but deeply, for all the moments I wasted, for all the love I assumed was missing, when it was only unspoken. Change did not happen overnight. I started small. I listened, without interrupting. I apologized, without defending myself. I asked questions, and waited for answers. Some days, my family did not trust the change. I did not blame them. Trust takes time to rebuild. But slowly, dinners grew warmer. Conversations lasted longer. Smiles returned carefully. Still, the regret stayed, because some damage cannot be fully undone. Just when I thought we had more time, life reminded me how cruel it can be. Rashid passed away quietly one early morning, before dawn. I held his hand, still warm, and whispered all the things I never said. I see you now. I understand. I'm sorry. But he could not hear me. That was the moment the truth hit me completely. Too late. Now my children visit often. They call me more. They sit with me longer. They forgive me, but I still carry the weight of lost time. I keep Rashid's chair by the window. I talk to it sometimes. I tell it how I am learning, how I am listening, how I wish I had done it sooner. If you are listening to my story today, please hear this from someone who learned it the hard way. Your family may be quiet, but that does not mean they are not hurting. Your silence may feel like strength, but it can also become a wall. Love needs words. Understanding needs listening. Do not wait for hospitals, letters, or funerals to open your eyes. Talk today. Listen today. Hold them today. Because sometimes, the truth hits us too late. And I do not want that for you. My dear child, listen to me like you would listen to an elder who has walked barefoot on sharp roads and learned where the stones lie. I am Elara. I have made mistakes. I have lost time I can never get back. And I have learned lessons that came only after pain. So let me share them with you, not to scare you, but to save you. I waited. I thought love would stay even if I stayed silent. But love needs care, just like a plant needs water. Say the kind words now. Show up now, because tomorrow is not promised, no matter how strong we think we are. I used to think my job was to correct everyone, to guide, to control. But what my family needed was not my instructions. They needed my ears. Sometimes, people don't want solutions. They want to be heard. Listen without interrupting. Listen without preparing your reply. Just listen. I thought I was the only one carrying pain. I was wrong. Everyone carries something heavy. Even the quiet ones. Even the strong ones. If someone is distant, don't label them cold. Ask them gently what they are going through. I lost years because I didn't want to say, I'm sorry. That one sentence could have healed so much earlier. Lower your pride. Not because you are weak, but because love is more important than winning. Regret is a harsh teacher. It teaches lessons after the exam is over. Change while you still have time. Apologize while the other person can still hear you. Hug them while their arms are still warm. You will make mistakes. So did I. Forgive yourself, yes, but do not repeat the same pain once you know better. Growth means using your past as a guide, not a grave. Your children don't need perfection. They need presence. 10 minutes of real attention is worth more than hours in the same room with no connection. Put the phone down. Look into their eyes. They will remember that forever. Love that is not expressed becomes invisible. Say it. Show it. Repeat it. One day, silence may be all that's left, and by then, words will have no place to go. My dear child, if my story touched your heart, let it also change your steps. Learn from Auntie Elara. Do not wait as long as I did. And if you are walking through challenges right now, remember this. It is never too late to become kinder, softer, and more present, unless you stop trying. May your home be filled with words that heal, and moments you won't regret.